Hello, my name's Tony Davis, and this following presentation is just a brief overview of the interview that I had with Crystal Maddox. She's the Chief Administrative Officer of the College of the Arts, which is the college that I also work in, at Georgia State University. Crystal and I met up. We work in downtown Atlanta, obviously, which is where Georgia State is. We met up at Rising Roll Cafe and got to have a sandwich and some soup together. We did this on Wednesday, September 19th, around 1 p.m. Ended up being a nice place for an interview. Wasn't too terribly loud. And we got to get out for lunch together. I've included the organizational chart for the College of the Arts. As you can see, there are over 241 positions encompassed in this chart. And you can specifically see there Crystal Maddox. She's over 4 of these roles, so she directly supervises 4 of these individuals. She manages the HR officer, who under her is an HR coordinator. She manages the director of communications, the chief financial officer, and also our technology manager and our technology team, which is under him. So she's got a pretty big role, lots of different hats that she wears, and dealing with lots of things that are pretty important and integral to the operation of our college. When asked about the mission of the College of the Arts, Crystal had this quote. I liked it so much, I included it. She said, "We're here to promote scholarly and research activity, to educate young adults, to introduce the community to GSU, and to create an appreciation for the arts on a local and international level." And that certainly is the aim of our college. Everywhere you go, that's what's being talked about, really that love and appreciation of the arts, kind of expanding that within our community, to our community. Crystal definitely touched on that. Crystal's career path. So Crystal has always been in higher education, and she's always been at Georgia State University. So she's never worked at any other type of job or anything like that. Crystal did receive her Bachelor's of Science in Psychology from UGA, and then she completed her MPA here at Georgia State University, and she focused on budgeting and finance, which makes a lot of sense, especially considering what she does now. She started as a staff assistant in kinesiology and health department, and then she moved up to an administrative assistant, then worked as an accountant, and finally a business manager in the education department. She then took a chance and moved on over to the Central Budget and Planning Office, where she was a budget analyst for quite a while. And she just said that that was a bit unfulfilling for her. There weren't as many challenges being in a centralized office like that. She felt like it got fairly routine. She then moved up, became a chief financial officer in the education department. And from what she was telling me, she seemed to kind of appreciate that more. It seems like she has an affinity for being in a department for sure. And then from there, she took her role as the college administrative officer. When I asked Crystal if she had any advice for me, she had plenty, but this is the main thing I think that I took away from it. She really, focused on the fact that a lot of people just seem to bounce around looking for money, or they're uber focused on a position for the money that it can provide, instead of really stepping back and looking and saying, okay, what kind of position do I want to have in the future? Where do I see myself working up towards? And kind of crafting your professional life around that. So taking jobs that you know are going to build the skills that you're going to need for that ultimate role or that ultimate area where you'd like to find yourself. And she left me with good advice too, just to say don't chase the money, which I think is excellent advice. Moving on to some of the specific questions that she and I got into. When asked what does she feel are the best and worst parts of her current position, the best parts definitely for her, I think you can grasp that she loves a challenge, she loves a puzzle, she loves lots of moving parts with the budget, with whatever it may be, all the many hats that she wears, and she likes to be able to take something that seems super complicated like that and find solutions, find a way to make it all fit and work together. She enjoys being able to say yes to people, especially the dean, who's our boss, and department directors. It's nice when people have initiatives or things that they want to happen, and you can help them achieve that. The worst things really center more around our college being so new. And there's a lot of challenges I think that come when you have something that's brand new, like our college. Um, these departments that are under us now, they were used to doing things a certain way in a bigger college where maybe it wasn't as noticed. And now, there are things that don't work for us with this smaller budget and, this closer eye that we're paying attention to things with. Um, she's noticing some things that are compliance and audit issues, potentially things that are not good at all. So it's been a challenge for her to address that and kind of change the culture of these departments. It's not always a popular thing to do. Budget redirects and the ability to do things that would be beneficial for the college, that's also a bad part of her job, something she certainly doesn't enjoy. When asked if she was satisfied with her career choice, she definitely seemed to be satisfied. Crystal likes working with students or likes being able to positively affect students, but I don't think that working one-on-one with students or having that constant student interaction is necessarily something that she needs. So I think this role works really well for her because it is important work that's affecting students, but it's not student facing, 90% of the time. When I asked her about her future aspirations, Crystal was pretty clear in telling me, this was an aspiration of hers to, I think, achieve this kind of success and to get to this level. And that this role, she's only like a year and a half into it, is still a very challenging role, and it's still growing and changing and becoming what it is and what it will be. So she's good where she's at right now, from what I could gather, and I would agree with her. When asked about her department's challenges, she had a lot of great examples. Um, Changes that have taken place within our department or our college over the last few years, which is funny to say we've only been around 2 years. That split from arts and sciences was a huge undertaking. We took 3 departments. We took music, we took art, and we took a brand new film, media, and theater department, created our own college. So nothing existed for us before. Everything had to be created. And that was taxing. That was overwhelming at times, but also extremely exciting. And Crystal seemed to mirror that. We were there doing it together, but Crystal definitely on a higher and a larger level. Also, too, she's saying there's a lot of changing and tweaking as we're moving along, and that's certainly true. She had a great quote where she likened, I'll read the quote actually, just specifically. She likens it to an onion, where we're peeling back layers here, and sometimes what you find makes you want to cry, which has been the case. Current issues, we're off the ground, we're running, things are going really well. The current issues, Crystal was pretty clear about. The growth that's being experienced in certain departments is extremely exciting, but with that growth comes challenges because you want to hire more faculty to match the growth. You want to provide more resources or whatever it may be, and budget's not always there for that. So how do you support a growing department like that without punishing other departments? That's definitely an issue that needs to be addressed, and it's a timely one for us right now. Again, biggest difficulties over the last 5 years, we've been only around for 2. The departments were used to a huge budget in arts and sciences, over $100 million. Now we have a $10 million budget. Um, so any bad decisions or anything where before maybe could have been masked in a larger college and not noticed, and when you're dealing with a larger budget, maybe not as detrimental, there's certainly things that are very dangerous or more dangerous for a small college. So Crystal certainly has to keep a careful eye on the departments and the budget and what's going on with them and be quick to address it if some not so wonderful things are occurring. We also talked about the finances and the general status of the budget with the department. Again, Crystal mentioned that the budget is hit with a lot of redirects, so there's only so much money. We don't receive as much money from, the state and other sources as we used to, so we have to make what we have work. And that means the whole university. So sometimes you can anticipate that you're going to have the same budget next year. The university may redirect some of those funds for other resources that are university wide. So that's a challenge. Right now, really, our budget is it's safer to use it for supplies and trainings and development opportunities. Not so safe quite yet to use it for hiring new faculty and staff, because you hire new faculty and staff and you're going to have to be able to pay them that next year, and your budget may not be the same. So it was an interesting thing to hear from her, and something I had not thought about. Where is the need? The financial need in our college right now, in Crystal's department, definitely in the new School of Film, Media, and Theater. They need more faculty. They need more people, and the budget's just not there for it right now. Also, to some other roles in the departments and in the dean's office. As far as future plans go, certainly, like everybody, we want to increase enrollment in our college programs. Crystal mentioned improving those 6-year graduation rates, hiring more world-class faculty, and reducing our audit and compliance issues and risk. I think those would be goals that anyone would have, but Crystal hit on those fairly heavily. Our department's biggest accomplishment, Crystal was also very clear about that. That was a huge split, and becoming our own college was a huge undertaking. And as I mentioned before, the different departments that are now incorporated in our college, making all that cohesive and come together and work and function has been a huge undertaking. And it's going well. Our enrollments are up. Our graduation numbers are looking great. Things are working. So, as Crystal said, I would agree it's a big accomplishment. When asked about major issues facing higher education today, Crystal gave some really interesting answers. She feels like higher education institutions are definitely being run more like businesses these days, where it's all about the bottom line and less about that student-centered experience. She also said, during the Great Recession, when funding was being cut from the state saw that we could still function and do more with less, and now that's expected. So I thought those were interesting thoughts. Some I certainly agree with for sure. My reaction in general, I was not shocked by anything that Crystal said, but I really appreciated her insight, especially as far as the financial and the budgeting aspects, because that's not something that I work with as much. It's more, curriculum, scheduling the students. So I really appreciated her budget and finance minded take on things. Um, I also too think that Crystal is a very student centered, devoted, committed employee, and I think higher education is a great place for her. I would definitely work with or for Crystal. Like I said, I find her to be intelligent, hardworking. She shares a lot of the same values that I do, and I think she does a great job. Overall, I thought this experience was very positive. I enjoyed the whole process, and I enjoyed being able to spend that time with Crystal and talk to her about some things in a way that I'd never had before. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I appreciate you watching, and good luck the rest of this semester.